The following morning, Jungkook is roused from his sleep by Andy gently shaking him by the shoulder. Yawning, Jungkook rubs his eyes. Andy mumbles, still trying to orient himself after being awakened. Reaching for his phone in an attempt to clear away the sleep fog, he squints at the screen. "Why are you waking me up at 6 in the morning? We need to talk." Andy nods, glancing toward the bedroom door where Me had gone to sleep just 15 minutes ago after their return from the moth. He tucks his hands into his pants pockets. "Meet me in the kitchen in 5, Jungkook sighs, observing Andy head to the designated spot. Rising from the couch, he sits up and, rubbing his face with his hands to shake off the sleep, pulls on a sweater discarded on the floor before bedtime. He then heads to the bathroom. Speedily attending to his needs, Jungkook splashes his face with cold water, attempting to wake himself up. Gazing at his reflection for a moment, he can't help but ponder how he ended up in this situation. Why has he spent the past week crashing at his friend's place, avoiding his own home, losing the only job that kept him afloat? Why does he find himself selling photos to strangers just to have a slim chance of affording tuition? And all this, less than a month after living with Mr. Kim, where he had at least some assurance that this man would provide him with an income. Then, the same man treated Jungkook as if he were just a... And Jungkook lost everything he had. After taking a few deep breaths, Jungkook waits until the tightening in his throat subsides. Leaving the bathroom, he heads to the kitchen. There, he finds Andy making tea. Weary, Jungkook sinks onto a chair, propping his chin on his hand. "So, what did you want to talk about?" he asks. "I found a job for you," Andy begins immediately, deciding that there's no potential for foreplay in this conversation. "One of our regular clients needs a service. I hope you told him I don't sleep for money." "You're lucky." Andy smirks wearily, taking his teacup and settling down at the counter. "It's not about that. He wants something like a private show at his place. He mentioned wanting to relax and record your performances. Asked if you'd be willing to provide such a service. I told him that if it doesn't involve, you'll do whatever he asks." "Andy," he left an address. "You need to be there tonight at 10, dressed and ready to strip in a way that justifies your fee. And it's not ruled out that he might offer you something more, but I told him I couldn't guarantee your consent. The main thing is to perform the dance. The rest is up to you." But he's offering 10 grand for a night's work. The whole night, $10,000, Jungkook. "If I were you, I wouldn't hesitate. They see you as a pretty expensive escort, especially since you work in our club. So, grab this opportunity with both hands and feet. I don't think you'll get another chance to earn the money you need in the time remaining. But, be prepared, he'll likely want more from you than just watching you dance and undress for him. Or that's the difference with being an escort, Jungkook. You need to spend time with him for what he's paying. But it doesn't necessarily mean just be sweet, giggle, talk to him, touch him." He sees Jungkook about to protest and interrupts the boy. "Not in that way. I mean, just, I don't know, be tactile. You know, hug him, touch him. I don't know, sit on his lap if he asks. Just make this old creep think you like him. If you're lucky, he might even tip you. No one pays 10 grand for conversation, Andy." "Maybe not, but they do pay for an illusion," Andy replies, taking a sip of his tea. "Look, Jungkook, it's not an ideal situation, but desperate times call for desperate measures. You need the money, and this is a significant offer. Just think about it. The choice is yours. Jungkook leans back in his chair, his mind swirling with conflicting thoughts. On one hand, the idea of providing such a service feels degrading and goes against his principles. On the other hand, the urgency of his financial situation and the substantial amount offered make it a tempting proposition. I need the money, Jungkook admits, his voice barely above a whisper. But, Andy, this feels wrong. I mean, what if he does want more than just a dance? What if he expects? Andy interrupts, understanding the unspoken fears. I made it clear to him that your consent for anything beyond the agreed upon terms is uncertain. If he crosses the line, you have the right to say no and leave. I wouldn't put you in a situation where you're forced into something you're not comfortable with. But, Jungkook, sometimes we have to make tough choices to survive. Jungkook runs a hand through his hair, a mix of frustration and resignation on his face. I just never imagined it would come to this. Selling myself. In a way, you're not selling yourself, Jungkook. You're selling a performance, an illusion. It's a transaction, and you have control over the boundaries. Just remember what you're doing this for. Jungkook nods, his gaze fixed on the tabletop. Look. He has status. He's a member of our club. And as far as I know, he's involved in politics or something like that. It's not in his interest to take you by force and then deal with a tarnished reputation in lawsuits, Jungkook. He guaranteed your safety. Guaranteed. Jungkook emits a hysterical laugh, shaking his head. How can a man who pays so much to have me alone with him and in front of him guarantee my safety? What if he tries something? Where do I run? Andy, listen, you asked me to help, and I found an option that can solve your problems with one night of work. Do what you want with it. If you agree, I brought one of your costumes from the club. You'll wear it, get in a taxi, and go to the address at the appointed time. And if not, figure out for yourself how to get out of this mess. I can't offer you anything more. So the decision is yours, Jungkook. Andy stands up, then, circling the counter, he pauses, touching Jungkook's shoulder and giving him a comforting pat. You're in a tough spot, Jungkook, and you know it better than anyone else. You don't have to inform me of your decision. I'll go to the bedroom now and send you the time and address. If you want to earn money, get ready in the evening and go there. And if not, find alternatives yourself. I really did everything I could. With these words, Andy leaves him alone in the room, and a few moments later, Jungkook feels his phone vibrating in his pocket, well aware of the content of the incoming message. He exhales loudly, getting off the chair, and wearily walks back to the living room, immediately settling on the couch and covering himself with a still warm blanket up to his neck. First, sleep. And closer to the evening, he'll try to suppress the remnants of pride for the sake of saving his own diploma. $10,000. Jungkook thinks that one night of pretense is worth avoiding getting kicked out of university. At 9:45, a taxi halts at the designated address. Jungkook swallows hard, examining the multi-story building from the cab's window. Taking a deep breath and mustering his courage, he exits the vehicle. Jungkook walks towards the entrance, not too confidently, and encounters the concierge. But once he mentions the apartment number where he's expected, the concierge, without unnecessary words but with an appraising glance, allows Jungkook inside. Jungkook tries to ignore the gaze fixed on his back. He knows that the man probably understands why he's here, and it only makes him feel even more disgusted with himself. But Jungkook genuinely needs this money. He tries to keep his mind empty as he takes the elevator and stops at the door, contemplating whether to ring the bell or contact Andy to inform him of his arrival and wait for someone to greet him. And how is he supposed to behave? I assume we're colleagues today. A female voice from behind startles Jungkook. He turns, observing a girl moving towards him along the hallway leading to the door. Jungkook gazes at her for a few seconds, noting her doll-like face, long lashes, and dark hair. She smiles, expertly navigating on high heels, and finally stands next to him. Sorry, what? Jungkook finally comes to his senses, recalling her words. I'm saying we're colleagues today, apparently. I'm Hera. She extends her hand, and Jungkook, hesitating for a moment, shakes it. But for them, she nods towards the door. I'm Tiffany. Don't get confused. I'm Jungkook. Okay, she chuckles, searching for something in her purse. And what's your stage name? Sorry, well, Jungkook is your real name, right? Or is it a pseudonym? I'm just used to people in our field preferring to address each other by real names. I mean, are you new? I'm not an escort. Jungkook diverts his gaze, exhaling irritably. I'm a dancer. This is just a side job, so you're a new. Odd, they usually don't invite inexperienced escorts to these kinds of events. I'm not an escort. Okay, Jungkook repeats, looking away. It's a part-time gig. Nothing more. Then just watch what I do and try not to look so scared and inexperienced. They relax quickly, and then all you have to do is be pretty and giggle from time to time. She finally finds a little mirror in her purse and starts reapplying her lipstick. After a few seconds, Jungkook comprehends the meaning of her words. Wait. There will be more than one man. Tiffany lets out another laugh. God, do you even know where you've come to? Jungkook feels the chill settling in. Where the hell did Andy send him? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Hey, calm down, she laughs kindly. Nothing special. Just a little gathering of some wealthy old folks who need attention. Be a sweetheart, and it's gonna be okay. We'll just entertain them a bit. You say you're a dancer? Yes, well, there you go. So, half the time, you can entertain them with your dances. Just don't drink too much since you're here for the first time. You know, to make sure you don't behave strangely. And keep in mind, she steps closer, leaning towards him and suddenly winks. We take payment up front. And my advice to you, hide your money well. You know, just in case you disappoint them, and they want a refund. And we don't work that way. Got it? Jungkook wants to escape. The one Tiffany or whatever her name is confidently talks about what might be behind that door is not reassuring at all. But the girl is already pressing the doorbell. He stands next to her, trying to give himself a confident look, and only pleads with his own stomach to calm down. Jungkook really doesn't want to throw up right here. Seconds drag on, and finally, the door opens. To Jungkook's surprise, a woman around 45 greets them. You're probably here for entertainment, she laughs, but it's not malicious, even friendly. Jungkook sees Hera chuckling and nodding. Hello. Has the party started already? He watches as she immediately puts on a mask, and her voice becomes softer, and the tone, as if dumber. The boy immediately notes. But he won't say it out loud. Welcome, please come in. The woman graciously moves aside, guiding them into the residence. I'll take you to a room where you can store your belongings and freshen up a bit. Jungkook hesitates, trailing uncertainly behind Hera. They come to a brief stop, allowing the woman who greeted them to close the door. Adhering to her instructions, they follow her until reaching a bedroom. "This is the guest room," she informs them, gently closing the door and providing them a measure of privacy from the remainder of the unexplored apartment. Jungkook hasn't had a chance to survey the surroundings yet. "Feel free to change here and leave your things. I'll keep watch to ensure none of Mr. Choi's guests intrude during the night. Tiffany, by the way," Ira introduces herself with a broad smile, extending her hand. "You work here, correct?" The woman nods, exchanging a quick handshake. "I'm a housekeeper. And in case anything goes awry, I'll be here to help you," she adds with a subtle hint of ambiguity, nodding again. "You can rely on me. If you need anything, just excuse yourselves to the restroom. I'll show you where to find me, and if necessary, I'll give you your belongings and guide you to the exit." "Will we need such help?" Jungkook blurts out unexpectedly, and the woman reassures him with a comforting smile. "It hasn't happened before," she shakes her head. "But I always keep an eye on guests like you. And I'm always ready to help."